Hi, I'm Tom Ziglar, CEO of the Zig Ziglar Corporation. I'm so glad you joined us right here on the Ziglar Coaching Academy. And today we're really speaking to life coaches. We're talking about mindset and a life coach's mindset, but not just the mindset you should have, but actually how you create and build the right mindset in yourself. So the last two lessons, we've talked about confidence. You've got to have so much confidence that the person you're coaching borrows confidence from you. It's contagious. They're more confident in themselves because of how confident you are in them. Well, confidence comes from three things: intention, preparation, and how you speak the truth in love. And so we talked about that intention last time. Today, we're talking about preparation. I was flying. This is a great Zig story. I was on a plane with Dad. This is like 25 years ago. We're going out. He's speaking in California, and he gets on the airplane, and Dad had a routine. So we get on first. We're sitting up in the front of the plane. He gets his little folder out, and he puts it next to him in the chair. And while we're still on the ground, the flight attendant comes over, and he tells the flight attendant, "Hey, my seat belt is buckled. My seat is upright. I'm going to take a nap. No need to wake me up. I don't want anything to drink." So I look over, and like 1 minute later, Dad is asleep. He's asleep right there in that place, right? He's just passed out. So the plane taxis down the runway. Dad's still asleep. We start to gain speed. We gain altitude. Dad's still asleep. And then as soon as the wheels underneath the plane kind of start folding up underneath the fuselage, I can even hear the noise. And if you've flown, you know what I'm talking about. It's that sound. He wakes up. It's like that is his wake-up call, right? So he wakes up, he wipes his eyes, he pulls the table thing that comes out of the armrest, he puts that up, he puts his manila folder on there, and he starts working on a speech. And so I knew what he was doing, but I wanted to ask him. I said, "Dad, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, we're going to California. I speak tomorrow. I'm working on my talk." And I'm like, "Dad, You've like given this speech like 1,000 times. I know it's a little different every time, but 95% of it's like the same. Why are you working on this talk? And I know you work about 3 hours on every speech you give, even though you've given it 1,000 times. Why are you doing that?" And he looked at me and he said, "Son, 2 reasons." He goes, "I never know when I'm going to give my last talk. So I want to be the last talk I give. I want it to be the best talk I've ever given. And number 2, he said, son, there are some people in that room who've never heard me before. And I want to say something that draws them in, that makes it unique to their audience so that they will lean in and say, that's for me. Zig Ziglar prepared this talk just for me. That's why I do it." So think about that. And all of that like legacy of 50 plus years of changing lives from his leadership roles, his speaking roles, he prepared every single time like it was his last time on the stage. That's what we're talking about with preparation. But I want you to hear this. He prepared also with the amount of time he had. He was very busy. Many weeks he might speak 2 or 3 times. And so he would prepare based on the amount of time he had. And sometimes, guess what? Sometimes he would speak back to back to back to back, and there'd be weather and travel delays. He might not have as much preparation for the last one as he did the first one. He gave himself grace in that area. So when we talk about coaching and creating a mindset, I want you to have the mindset of, I'm going to prepare with the amount of time that I have. So what does that look like? Did I review the notes from previous coaching sessions? Did I follow up with them in between now and the last session on what they're doing? Did I do some research, or did I review the hundreds of questions that I could ask them and pick out 3 or 4 that would be perfect for this next session? Did I do a mental model in my head of how I want the conversation to go? These are all preparation techniques that as coaches we can do. Here's the difference. When you prepare in the right way, when you ask those questions in the right way, specific to that person you're working with, it changes everything. And we've also got to give ourselves some grace, because a lot of times we get a phone call and the client says, hey, I need to talk right now. We didn't have a lot of preparation. We give ourselves some grace in that, and we might even create a routine that allows us to get into that frame of mind, that state that allows us to work with them. So remember this, we need to transfer confidence to the people that we coach. That starts with intention. We want the best from them. Our motive is for them to win. And then we also prepare every single time. The next lesson will be on speaking the truth in love, because that is the secret ingredient. Thank you so much for being a part of this lesson. I hope this helped. We'll see you next time on the Ziglar Coaching Academy.